Hello. And welcome back to Strained Hungers. Last we left off, our party traveled from Cersei along the Castad archipelago towards the massive giant head of the stone serpent looming overhead of the bay facing the Fekthal Ocean. The Fulcrum Expedition, having finally made their way onto Falkreath, the continent of the frozen wastelands, have begun their journey for the true expedition. They examined through various methods the inside of the head of the stone serpent, but found mostly a campsite and bats, not wanting to incur whatever wrath might befall them if they were to remove its diamond eyes. After leaving the first coil of the stone serpent, they found themselves by what seemed to be a small altar to the god Roll, also known as Frost, underneath one of the massive arches making up the serpent's body, where they established a swift camp, Vice and Matthias knowing that this is a place travelers often pass through. But after searching the area, we found first a tent covered in blood, and then Tazriel, a strange figure who turned out to be bait for a pack of gnolls riding upon owlbears. This mysterious stranger was dragged into the river by these gnolls, and the party was beset. After a fairly successful combat, the remaining gnolls were either left to turn tail or taken out by the force of the party. And at the end of the last session, although they have not yet taken a long rest to gain the benefits, we will also be doing this on short and long rests, but the party did level up, having made their way into the first leg of their journey. So
Okay. So are we leveled up? Are we level 9? Or are we assorted levels now? Not yet. Okay.
Not yet. You have to complete a night's rest. If it's a short or a long, you have to complete a night's rest to gain the benefits of your level up.
So you're saying we can just curl up into a ball right here?
So if you just pass out right now.
You know Kara will.
I have it in my sheet, but I haven't. I still have on record what my...
Yeah. We will be level 9 momentarily.
Yes.
Two of us will be level 9.
I figured I would let you know about the level up in advance, as I often like to do, so you guys could pick out some of your things.
Thankfully I don't get anything for level 9, except more spells. Stupid.
Oh no. Third level spells.
More spells. So sad.
You forgot the very important thing, Sloan, which is that with every level you take, everyone gets gayer.
That's true.
Also, you can cast Revivify now. Just third level spells.
Wait, you can cast Revivify now?
Not enough. Not enough for the little baby boy paladin to be able to raise the dead.
Right? Need something more.
Wow. He just raises himself. You know, he's used to that. It's boring.
All grumpy about the fact that he got an ASI last level.
Hey, I mean, I'm with y'all. I just got my ASI this time. But also, come to class, Maddie. I'll teach you how to raise the dead. Of all sorts.
Now,
do you count as being dead, having died once? Should I teach you how to raise the dead?
Oh my god.
I'll stop.
Wow.
Listen, someone just got married and, jokes are jokes.
Oh, congrats to Pooja for being a real true wife guy.
Don't have a ring on, but I'm a wife guy.
I'm so excited.
This picture's on my Twitter if you want to go look.
Go look at Pooja. Promo. Okay.
I look like princess.
Now, here in Multiverse, we do have our party. You are kind of scattered around still. The corpse of an owlbear is before you, Awaish and Varden. There's another one by where Kiara was, and then the one frightened gnoll has dashed off, and the one that had just been watching, the injured one, has also begun to flee. If you guys wanted to pursue them at all, you're welcome to, but I think it was decided to let them go, correct?
Yeah, especially because there's a dude in the river that's, having a bad time.
Speaking of which, I'm in the river.
Yeah.
Matthias, you plunge into the river. Could you make a Constitution saving throw for me, Sloan?
Sure. By God. Come on. Okay, that's a 20. That's a dirty 20.
Good.
Waste rolls, baby!
Listen, it's either pretty decent or catastrophic failure for me, and I want to have a good day. I want to have a good day.
Matthias, in full armor and weapons, you plunge yourself and the water rushes over your head. It is freezing cold. It takes all your concentration not to gasp out in shock as it suffuses over your metal armor and all the warm layers that you're wearing. You fully duck under and you can see towards the bottom where this rope coil has been dragged down through the rushes and the rocks at the bottom here and pulled him down into the river.
Okay.
I'm just as a reminder, you also do have +1 on save still because
fuck
is
yeah.
still up.
Fuck yeah. Okay. I mean, I'm swimming towards him. If I pull on the rope, can I pull him towards me?
The rope the rope sort of leads across the bank where the knoll had pulled him away from the bank that you were on, the left bank, towards the right bank. So you can, the only rope you would be able to reach is the stuff that's coiled around him.
Okay.
So you're basically grabbing him or grabbing the rope around him.
Cool. I'd love to grab him, and yeah, I'm gonna try and bring him up. I'm trying to swim up with him. I was imagining I would have to cut the rope, but if I don't, then I'll just grab him and swim.
As you begin to pull on him, you can tell the rope is tangled in the bottom of the river here and tied against something on the right bank.
Yeah, cool.
So either make an athletics check or try and remove the rope from him.
I
However you want to do that.
I have a dagger that I was gonna use to just try and fucking cut this thing.
Okay, give me a athletics check to try and cut a rope underwater in a freezing river.
Sure. Athletics. That is... Oh, it's better than I thought it would be. That's a 17.
A 17 is enough. You have your gloves on. These are decently, they have this grip on them that you're used to for doing activities in the cold. So with the dagger, you're able to cut through. I think, let's say you cut through the rope, not the coils of rope around him, but rather just the strand of rope that's sort of stuck down towards the bottom of the river, so you can pull him free.
Yeah. I'll yank him free and I'll start swimming back.
Okay, give me one more athletics check to pull him up and out of the river. Again, bodying, full-bodied man, pulling him out of the river.
Yes. 18.
Okay.
Damn,
Matthias?
Mr. Darcy. Fuck.
One hand up onto the river, there are these tree roots that are growing sort of through the snow here. You can get the crook of your arm around one and then basically just pulling up with the force of a bicep as you drag the coils of rope, sodden, soaking, and this man out of the river and just get his head up onto the bank.
And then as soon as his head is above water, he says, "Help!" and is going to continue crawling out. Because he's gonna start trying to revive this guy, but he's still trying to get out of the water. Maybe somebody else can make their way over while he's...
Yeah, Kiara will rush over to try to help the guy because, she can't help with the rope.
Okay. Kiara, you rush over. What are you doing to help?
Once the guy's on land, she wants to examine him and cast Spare the Dying if he's dying, see what's going on.
Okay. You tell me, are you examining him or are you casting Spare the Dying? Which one?
If he looks at all like he's not breathing, Spare the Dying. That's gonna be the first instinct because it's a cantrip and it's not gonna hurt.
Well, I'll tell you this. You release your cantrip Spare the Dying and it doesn't work.
Oh, shit.
It's like you're trying to start a fire while it's raining.
Oh,
The spark doesn't catch.
I think Kiara will immediately say, Matthias, I don't think he's... And then, I guess, I don't know if that's the end of my turn, but that's all she'll say.
We're not in initiative. I just wanted to know, like, the immediate action.
Mhm.
Effectively, Spare the Dying has already told you the information a medicine check would have.
Yeah.
Matthias, your armor begins to, like, frost over. You can feel the scarf you're wearing hardening, the hood from the cold.
Okay. I'm gonna slap a lay on hands on this guy, just in case.
Rude.
I think because
He
much
also
damage
does
points are you giving
currently, he does currently something I think you'd be able to see is have cotton still in his mouth. So I feel like that might freeze if it's not taken out.
Yeah.
true. I think okay. Gotten back up onto the bank, he's going to reach for the cotton and rip it out of this guy's mouth, and
It, like, catches in his teeth. It's this frozen ball that you have to pull out. It looks like a wadding of some kind. Like, maybe it was pulled out of the tent or something, like the sleeping bag material.
Okay. And he's going to, hearing what Kiara is saying, panicked look, and is just gonna, like, slap a hand down on this guy and give him, like, 5 hit points just to see and try.
Mm-hmm. You just push 5 hit points into him, almost like you are, compressing his chest. A bit of water spills out of the mouth, but his eyes don't open.
Fuck.
This is a fairly heavy-set, wide-bodied man who's much, much shorter than you, Matthias. There's gray in his hair. It's sort of slicked and pushed back. It's fairly long, coming down a bit to the shoulders. You can see he is rough-hewn in many ways, although his skin is kind of bleached bloodless just from the cold. Sort of olive skin-toned, with a variety of just, like, pockmarks on his face, like he's been shaving with a dagger of some kind and isn't very good at it. His clothes are not particularly nice, although he's got this blue shirt that's a very, very nice color, so maybe something he's been wearing for a long time. These thick boots that he's been wearing, but he doesn't have any kind of big coat on. These are just like an underclothing layer that he's been thrown in with.
Shit.
He's not familiar to you at all.
Fuck. Okay. Looking down at this guy, all right. Thank you, he says to Kiara, and then grabs the scarf and just, like, tries to begin pulling it off, and flakes of ice chip and fly everywhere just from the water, like, instantly freezing, as he begins then to reach for the, like, buckles on his gauntlets, tears a glove off, tears the other one off, starts fiddling with them, and says down to this body, just, fuck, I'm sorry. And then stands and sort of, like, gestures with his head to Kiara back towards the group. And he's gonna start walking back towards them, and as he's walking, he is fiddling with the parts of his armor, and he's, like, dropping armor as he walks, and approaches the group. That's Vice and Barden and everybody, and is going to say, help me move a body, please.
I think at this point,
Yeah, what were the rest of you doing?
yeah, from what I remember of what's been happening, Taz is fractured.
Yes.
And the minute that combat drops, Awaish has, and this final creature in front of them drops, Awaish is kind of, like, driven their staff into the ground a few times to get to Neve as quickly as possible, and is just kind of like really frantically checking her over wordlessly.
I'm fine. Did you see that? I hit it.
Fine. And is just like, as if not believing, just keeps checking and checking and checking.
I'm fine. Tazriel.
Word with Tazriel.
Tazriel, you are fractured. The cold around you is piercing. You have a massive headache.
I think he's taken. He definitely realizes what's happening, and he's turned around and gone back to take a look at the tent. Not retreating in like not so much retreating in the way when it first happened and he wouldn't be around anybody so much, but is just like just looking over if there's anything they missed, identifying information since Matthias has said this person is dead. Because I think in his mind, at the very least, word can be sent somewhere, I guess, that this person has died. And it's just breathing in and out to, like, at the very least, make it so it's not like whatever he's thinking is out there, and it's more just like just slight pressure if anybody gets particularly close to him.
Keeping focused is smart. Now, I do recall that you had an excellent investigation check previously, but I'm going to say that that was when you were looking for signs of potentially being attacked or what happened violently here. If you want to give me a fresh investigation check to see what you can find out about this person, I'll take one of those.
Yeah, that's with a D8 roll to subtract from it. Yep.
You're a little distracted. Visions distort at the edges of your sight.
We'll have a little investigative homie, though, because wait.
Yeah?
Wait, hold on. Spoke too soon?
That is a 19.
A 19 well fractured. The intense focus of looking through the remains of this tent, having spent many days pursuing targets, examining campfires or places of residence for clues about where missing people might have gone or who might have lived here or stored stolen contraband in places. This intense focus helps you a lot. Looking through what remains of this man's tent, as I've said, you can tell that there were deliberate footprints that were dragging to the right, sort of towards the riverbank. Now that you know where the gnolls had come from, you can tell that it looks like they approached and attacked this man. From the left, there are tracks that have been sort of wiped over, places where the snow has been scuffed, not just by your battle. It seems as though this was not just one traveler, but rather that there were probably two people who were sharing a tent here. You have no idea where another person or body could have gone, but there is a large amount of blood that's been spilled in the tent that suggests that doesn't seem good. Doesn't seem like they're good for the other person. It was confusing at first because there was only one sleeping bag, but that sleeping bag has been torn and ripped a bit. It seems like it might have been able to fit two people, perhaps a partner or a trading partner. You're not necessarily familiar with a lot about Valkyrie. It would be a Korean like fabrics or anything like that. But it doesn't look like there's a lot of food or extra supplies that are left here. These are meager in terms of what you can find. And also, considering that and how close you are to Serse and other towns that you've passed by, considering you've seen a lot of travelers, you also just generally put together that it seems like these people were an easy target. They don't have a lot, and they probably either are local or are very not local.
Right. I think Taz is gonna like call out. I think the mind connection is still up since it doesn't
Mhm.
take concentration. But I don't think he wants to be in anybody's head while his head's being weird, and so it's just gonna say, "Oh, I think there was a second person here. They're probably dead too, but from the looks of it, it wasn't just one person."
Novel, what are you doing?
I think Novel as Barden just sort of still on the floor from that slide underneath the owl bear, the thud. And it's just like standing up and still kind of shaking out the last crackles of electricity. Just okay, puts the sword away for the minute. I'll looks to Matthias and just seeing him start to freeze. Kiara, could you start heating him back up? That might be a hand. I'll sort out the person. Gonna head the way that they came from because I haven't seen it yet, but I'd like to go
Yeah,
look.
you can. You
Ears
see
out, just in case this is like a double tap kind of thing, waiting for people to come back. I know.
marked.
I've read
will
Hunger
say-
Games. I know what happens here.
We're all on Hunger Games right now. I'm
New
gonna say
movie
you
coming
go.
out November.
You go to the potty
I'm
first.
embracing it.
Novel. You don't necessarily see any details that Matthias and Kiara have not already spotted. This person is about the same height as your novel form, not Barden.
5'5". Wow. Small.
Mhm.
Any tattoos? Any jewelry? Any? Not that I'm going to steal it, but it's just like, where could he be? Where could they be from?
You can give
Any
me
signs of ID?
either investigation or history.
Oh, let's see. What am I better at? Let's do history. I have an advantage. Oh, that was so close. That was almost a 19. That is a... I've got proficiency, so that's a 17 total.
Excellent. Same thing, you're not specifically familiar with any kind of house markings or things like that from Valkyrie. Like, you wouldn't necessarily know the name of a noble house, per se. Not that there are a lot of noble houses here, but pouring through his clothes and his any jewelry that he would be wearing, you find just like sewn within the lapel of this blue shirt that he's wearing, there seems to be, just in black thread, this little symbol. I think since Matthias is right there, you can kind of point it out, and conversing between the two of you, you recognize this is likely a guild symbol, meaning that this would be a trader's mark. A trader's mark in Valkyrie usually means that they are a trusted person to trade with. Considering the sparsity of certain goods here in Valkyrie, someone who is known to do bad dealings or to sell you, like red bear goods or boiled meat, things like that, that makes a difference between life and death. So it seems like this was a trader who, at the very least, had a decent reputation.
Okay. I'm just trying to think of what Novel's experience of funerals would be in Skyhome. And then also in Oran Albara, because I'm imagining in Oran Albara they often have sky funerals.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Letting the world
and
take it back.
Oran Albara and Skyhome would have very different burials. Skyhome bodies are very easily preserved for long periods of time. That's why you have places like the temple that Matthias's family often visited, with a graveyard inside and underground. So it's very easy to preserve bodies for long periods of time without them smelling very badly due to the salt. You might have a lot of catacomb-esque places where people are buried. Versus Oran Albara, there are more often natural forms of burial, whether it's just burial underground or using things like kind of like druid craft, but not always necessarily magical, to return bodies to help them decompose faster.
I think turns to Vice and to Matthias and just, do we bury here? I don't know the tradition.
Vice is the ways away from you. It seems like Vice is actually stalking around the edges of your campfire, making sure the fire doesn't go out, looking over to where Matthias is.
I'll also say
and
Matthias
keeping an eye.
is like walked away from the body.
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
was like taking off his armor. He probably went back towards the main area where that altar is and is working on. He's working on getting getting all this shit off of him because it's soaking fucking wet, and if he stays in it, he'll die.
Yeah. If I know anything from Alone, 45 minutes is enough to kill you in the cold if you got wet clothes on.
He actually
Wasted probably 10.
he has a spell that could potentially help with this, but
No worries.
so I want to wait until after you're done with what you're doing.
I think so. I can't find anything that gives me an idea of who this person's name was.
I'll say you got a pretty good history check. The lapel in the back of his shirt, he's got that stitching. There is a name in the back of this shirt, like maybe there are a bunch of these guild shirts and he didn't want to lose his. So Hakon, Hakon, is
Hakon.
written.
Gonna
Thanks,
write it
reading.
down. And also, I think Barden takes a moment, just like, is it rude to take the sign, or would that help someone recognize him? Just gonna draw it, write the name Hakon, write it down, and I think they're gonna begin burying. They're gonna start digging a hole because it's
Okay.
just like the point of animals are here. They're gonna go for the body, and she doesn't know if
Matthias did
That's
request
what they
help
do here.
moving a body.
moving. Okay,
Yeah.
if he asks for moving, I think
Where would
she
you like
she
the
would
body
easily
to
just
move
pick
to?
it up. Yeah,
Just
she's
bringing
gonna
it back towards the altar. Where
Yeah,
was that?
bringing it back. Easy answer.
When it comes to attracting animals, you are surrounded by blood, gore, and corpses.
We should probably move when we're done here, just to say. We don't want the ones that got scared off to remember where we
We-
are.
We shouldn't go anywhere until we all get a chance to warm up a little bit. Valerian, by the fire, once you're done.
Yeah, he's working on it.
Actually,
right, that's
oh,
where
wait,
our
have you
fire
left-
was set.
Oh wait, have you left Neve now? Are you said you were going over to Tazrael?
No, they said that as like Awaish is kind of like shaking with anger and was going to yell at Neve if they didn't say something. So that's what they said, but they haven't left.
Well, Neve pulls away from you after saying, "I'm fine. I'm gonna go help Matthias. I know how to take on enough armor. I've helped my dad with some ceremonial stuff before."
Do as you will.
Okay. And Neve goes over and, in a sort of a squirely fashion, Matthias will help
Yes.
you unbuckle some of the back buckles.
I forgot about the fire. I'm going there, not to the thing.
Cool.
I'm going to the place where there is heat.
Then between Vice and Neve, they're gonna half the time it takes you to doff your armor.
Fuck yeah. Great. Just like tearaway pants, stripping so fast. Like fully is going to get like a second change of clothes, which probably is with their goats and crates and shit, and is gonna run back there and probably like hide a little bit, like so he's not completely bare ass in front of everybody, but he does have
There's a bear in here?
There's
a bear?
But he just like fully changes over into like he doesn't have a second pair of like nice boots, but he does have his little slippies that he wears when boots, like the ones that are easily compressed. So full just change over while people are doing other things.
You're in your fuzzy jammies, but they're real warm.
I mean,
he has secondary
not all-
clothes. Like, he has
I
a
know,
second pair of
I know.
pants and shirt and shit, but he's
The
just
sheep
like
sweater.
getting into it. He gets into a sheep sweater 100% for sure, and then is going to I think try and construct like a rack if they don't already have one that he can put his wet clothing over very close to the fire so they can start steaming off. And his
Excellent.
armor as well.
Matthias,
I
you.
was gonna say. Oh, go ahead. I was gonna say
Matthias,
Kiara has
you
prestidigitation too to help.
Yeah.
Very
Excellent.
true.
Definitely helps dry stuff. Matthias, you did this fairly swiftly, which is excellently done, and you also had help. Will you just give me a survival check with advantage, please?
Yeah. It's called a survival check because you gotta survive. Oh, that was good. That was good. 22.
Been rolling good.
22. Excellent.
22.
Okay. Matthias, you only take 2 points of cold damage. Those are just
Hell yeah.
just represent being, fucking cold.
His ass is so cold. He's trying to get the feeling back in his butt.
It's the moon.
But
Listen, if
he
Matthias has
used
a
2
big
points of
butt,
cold
it's
damage,
always
just
cold.
yeah.
Trust me.
It's just your
I speak
hands
from
are a
experience.
little bit numb. You've prevented any kind of frostbite from setting in.
Thank God.
You're familiar enough with your own body and the signs to recognize that you have, cut this off very quickly.
Harder to know on those claws that he's got on his hands. It's a little weird.
For some reason, the claws aren't cold, Maddie.
Mm. Well, cool. He is huddled by the fire.
Okay.
What's everyone else doing?
Taz, you've
I-
completed your... Oh, sorry. I just want to say, Taz, you've completed your investigation. I also just wanted to say, since I know that you are incredibly an expert in investigation as a rogue and looking around, I'm going to tell you for the time being that if it seems like these travelers came here early in the day and they've been here for a while. So if they had any steeds or other equipment or other food, it's completely gone, been taken by the gnolls, anything like that. You don't think you're going to find any other, in this area, any other signs of Akon and where he came from. That's all. Sarah.
Hell yeah. Discord, my worsty. But yeah, I think as Taz is finishing up all of this, Awaish strides towards him with as much speed as they can manage, and then kind of does that little stopgap when they have a very firm grasp of their own mind and can tell when something is pushing into it, and so kind of immediately gauges that there might be something going on with Tazriel, even if it's not offensive or super, what's the word, penetrating, I guess. But with that in mind, approaches and says, "When you are of the correct faculties to do so, I require a conversation."
We can have that right now if this isn't bothersome.
I believe I must be of the correct faculties as well.
I'll let you know when it's done. We can talk if you're fine.
And just kind of moves off to also sit by the fire. They actually might investigate this owlbear.
Mm-hmm. It's certainly strange talking to Tazriel when he's fractured. I think that there's an echo behind your words, Taz. You think the words as you say them, and you can hear him thinking the words before they're said. So it's kind of an interesting thing. But Taz, since we are out of combat, I'm going to give you another wisdom saving throw to see if you've maintained a pretty good grasp on your facilities, to see if you can come down from being fractured.
Alex, remind me again, is this with the D8 as well?
No.
Okay, cool. Yep, that'll do it, I think. That is, what? I have nothing to wisdom saves, 19.
19 is enough. As sort of a parting gift, Tazriel, would you tell me about a moment that this combat reminded you of? Has there been any prior engagement with the raise that they requested of you where you had fought anything like a gnoll, or had a person used as bait to try and distract you? Anything like that you think might have happened to Taz?
Yes, I definitely think a person has been used as bait. I think the specific situation with that was. Oh, I think it was his first. I think it might have been like maybe his second or third solo mission, and he was. It was a second or third solo mission. He was dealing with like a small cell of some cult or something. Had a very specific hey, slip in, deal with this one person, and then slip back out. And somehow they found out about it and like had the person like redisguised as him. And then he got ambushed, and I think that's the like most beat up he's ever gotten on a on a solo mission by himself. He got out there. He didn't complete the mission in that moment, had to leave and recuperate, and then came back at I don't know, a couple of days later to finish it off. But
Yeah, by the skin of your teeth. It is a more comforting feeling knowing that even though there might have been a loss here, you were not alone. And your injuries are nowhere near as severe as they were in that moment. So it is comforting to not lose a single member of your team.
I think he's going to go by the fire as well and sit down next to Neve specifically.
Okay. Now, you had left some time, but it is growing, I would say, slightly darker. You are heading towards the cold season, so it's going to be getting darker a little bit earlier. You're just cresting over into evening.
Tazriel, you said there was more than one person here?
Yes, the tent. The sleeping bag could fit at least two people. The amount of blood that was already here, and just glance over the body, seeing a lack of it on this individual. A partner of some sorts was more than likely here as well.
All right. There is a good chance that they'll be back. The gnoll groups who live here, there are usually more than what they send out on trips like this. So we have two options. One is to leave and push through the night and try and get as far as we can without letting them know where we are. And the second option is to stay where we are, shore up the camp as much as we possibly can, try and get some rest, and anticipate them being back. If not before sunrise, then after we have finished our rest for the night.
Pushing through might be the better option, but I obviously defer to those of you that have been here.
We don't know their numbers. I mean, they know ours. There's at least one of them going back. They know what we can do to an extent. We don't have the element of surprise, whereas they do. I think it's best to keep going.
How's my shit looking? We have magic and we also have fire.
That's true. You are also only on the tier list of cold, a 1. So I'm going to say, Matthias, your gear will be ready to use again in about half an hour.
Okay. If we can wait half an hour, then I'll be able to put my armor back on safely. Until
you
then, maybe.
do you want to wait an hour, I will give you guys the benefits of a short rest. And I'll allow you to level up, actually. I think if you wait an hour, I think I'd be amenable to that.
All right, let's wait an hour, and then we can move out.
What do you plan of doing with our like there's a dead guy in her arms. She's like, what are we doing, this poor guy? I can bury him. I don't know what people do here. It feels a
Barrels
bit
aren't
weird.
typically an option. He like grabs his
The frozen
dagger
ground.
and just
Yeah.
like tries to stab it into the ground, and it just.
I can.
You're a strong guy, but it's still.
I can create a funeral pyre, but I don't know if that will draw too much attention.
It would draw a lot of attention.
Why not take his symbol and throw him back in the river?
It's another option.
Kind of tossed behind them. They're only half in this conversation.
Oh yes. Oh wait, you were looking at the owlbear?
I can wait to investigate that though if we want to.
Oh, I want to have you roll this now, since we're kind of
Sure.
getting into some role play stuff, and I want to give you the results of whatever you're looking for.
Absolutely. It's hard. This is half of a I'm distracting myself by trying to learn about something I don't know a lot about. But they are looking for components that may be useful to us as we head further into the wastes, whether that's
Excellent.
this owlbear lives here, so the feathers would be very useful to add onto our clothing, or like this beak could be added to a weapon. Fuck yeah, that kind of shit.
Definitely.
Imagine like brass knuckles with an owlbear beak, just like a
Yeah.
gauntlet. That'd be sexy.
Oh, yeah. I'll say this. You definitely can take some of the feathers for anything like feather fall. Those are always useful.
Right.
Blood from a fallen enemy is useful as a component in a variety of spells. More warlock based, I'll say to you, Sarah, but having some fresh blood from an enemy is just kind of, it's potent as a magical
cred, too.
component. Yes. So anything like that. If you give me an Arcana check or a Nature check, I'll tell you what you can find. The DC for the Nature check is lower than the Arcana check.
I do have good nature still. It's just yeah, let's try a nature check. Why not? Oh dear. That's a 13.
The DC was 12 for the Nature check. So, this owlbear is very well adapted to living in this climate. You also think the meat is definitely edible. Like, just from that Nature check, it seems like it's got a good amount of meat on it, and I don't know how much meat Oash usually eats, but I don't know. It's definitely edible, and there's a lot of it here. If you're able to dry some of it over the fire for maybe an hour or even cook it, it's just, you're saving some of your rations, and it is good eating. It will keep you warm. Owlbear pelts are also valuable. They can be used to make clothing. And owlbears are particularly hard to kill, so like they are decently valuable. It will take the entirety of your hour to try and skin this, and someone will be able to rest if they do it. So if you want to stay longer and like skin an owlbear, that is a fucking undertaking. But
Right.
the pelt itself would be very useful, yeah.
I don't need to rest.
sorry.
Like, I haven't got any spells to rest up on, so I'd be happy to do that.
You need to
I'll
rest to level up.
I'll still let whoever doesn't
Oh.
rest level up. They just won't
Yeah.
gain like the benefits of a short rest. You can't spend hit dice. You can't gain back any abilities, things like that.
Just Baron at one point just being like, I have skinned the armed rabbit, but this is a bit bigger. But I'll give it a
Show
go.
you where to cut.
Yeah, sure.
You've got a magical sword that doesn't dull. That is
Using an
designed to kill
ancient-
monsters.
But to skin them.
It It cuts through the flesh easily.
I think just like a
And-
moment of just like, do you mind
Like a
if
wool
we
knife through
do
butter.
this?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Awesome. And take direction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the thing about skinning is it requires a lot of strength. You really just gotta free the legs and the head, and then the rest goes swoop like a creepy little sock. So we'll
I'm gonna put a
show you where
CW
that
in the
is.
chat.
Yeah. CW for socks.
It's not,
Okay.
not just socks.
What are you talking about?
I think
I think for CW for skin sock.
Yeah, skin sock for sure.
Yeah, so Awash will show you where. We'll
Shall I
also,
roll?
yeah, we'll also mend any parts that get kind of injured if Barden makes like a false cut or a.
Novel, could you give me just a dexterity check? I'll take advantage since Awish is helping, actually. Dex check.
Thank you. That's great because that was a 3. Come on, be nice. I can't see what that is. Oh, it's a 7. Boo! I'm gonna fuck up this pelt.
It's
I was gonna say Kiara would help, but she's not gonna because it's.
Oh yeah,
Didn't you have
yeah.
advantage?
Dead animal.
Did you have 7 with
that
advantage?
was a 3 and a 7 with advantage, yeah.
Yeah.
Christ.
Well, listen, this is your first time doing it, and it doesn't become unusable. You just only recover about half of it. It's a massive creature, and so you get a swath of pelt that is usable from the back. But where you cut open the bottom of the
Yeah,
creature,
I kind of fucked that up.
it's pretty gross anyway. So if someone wants to write down in inventory, we can also just make a note of it in Discord or something like that you have an owlbear pelt. This is the kind of thing that you could be working on as you're traveling, that you could be cleaning, using. It has a variety of purposes that are very helpful.
Which half of the pelt do you get?
The sort of like
The
behind the head and back. Yeah, so you get some of like the ears
Mhm.
and the back, but not the arms. I will also just say, if you want to gather anything like the claws or the beak, you're not sure particularly what they might be useful for, but things to trade in general is always helpful, especially any kind of artisan or craftsperson might be able to use it.
As they finish as well, I think Barden just kind of leans in towards Oish and he's like, should we leave the body like a warning? You know, like they do with foxes. You know, like if
fox?
when the gnolls come back.
What do they do with foxes?
Oh, in farms they leave them there, you know, after dealing with them.
Awash has never. I don't think there are foxes on the
What a fox!
the atolls. But
What's the fox?
just nods. You have no desire to try to move it anyway. We should take what we need. And does take those components as well that you mentioned, Alex.
Yeah.
This is not
Blood.
immediately important, but I seem to remember Darren is gone right now, correct?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yes. Sorry, yes. Darren poofed. Yeah.
Yes.
Your book. I'm assuming you went and picked up your book as soon as you could.
Yeah, picked up the book. It's a little scrungled, so Waish will now go and sit down and start to like mend the parts that got a little worn up.
Mm-hmm. I'm counting your spellbook, considering it is a component for Darren and the amount of resources you've put into it, as having similar properties to a magic item where we've said it's like waterproof, you know? It's not gonna get super torn or ripped or anything like that.
Okay, tight.
Unless someone tries to
Yeah,
destroy it.
makes sense. Okay, I just needed to know that for spell managing later, but not immediately important. Waish takes the components.
Novel and Awash are doing this skinning. I would like to know if there's any interaction happening between Tazriel, Kiara, Neve, Maddie, Vice.
I think Taz, while they're doing that, and has specifically sat down next to Neve. Well, how'd it feel? You kept alive?
I felt really good. I think I did a good job. I wasn't as scared as I thought I would be.
I'm happy to hear that, but also don't get not saying you are.
Don't get
But don't-
cocky.
Yeah, fear will keep you alive.
I think Markart has said something like that.
But I think is this your first? This is not your first dangerous fight, correct?
I've fought before, and I've trained with you, but I haven't had to defend my life. No.
Well then, when we get somewhere with civilization, I owe you a drink, and I think no training tomorrow morning for me.
I would appreciate that. I am a little tired, especially if we're going to keep traveling.
Yes, but good job.
Thanks. I think that Vice is, I wouldn't say fussing over Matthias, but it's a little fussy. You have done an excellent job and demonstrated your order training, so she's not concerned that you're going to be particularly injured, but she does kind of go over and like rub your back very fast, like trying to get the blood flowing. It's a little harsh, but like kind of like knocks the back of your head a little bit, like when you're brushing snow off of someone's hair.
Ow. It's fine.
Just
you.
making sure you still have feeling.
I've got feeling. Just my toes. They're coming back.
Do you want me to step
No.
on them with it?
No. Thank you.
Okay.
I'm alright.
Minimal losses, Valerian.
Well, what's one pinky toe?
I meant...
Yeah. He, for most of the time is just looking at the dark outline in the snow of this man's body. Kind of had them drop it further away from the fire so that it wouldn't get affected by the heat at all.
Mm-hmm.
Better to keep it as frozen as possible. I don't know what we're going to do with him.
And Vice is kind of saying this so the group can hear it as well. Listen, this was the first ambush. I suspect it will not be the last. In
No.
some ways, I am surprised it came this early, but in others, I expected it sooner. So, there is a grim comfort in being prepared for what you know is going to happen. And the first loss is not one of the people you brought with you. So
Still, it's a horrible way to die.
yes. But gnolls can be determined creatures when it comes to survival. I suspect he is privileged in not being the meal his companion might have made.
Well, we can't burn him. Not here.
Yes.
We could take him with us. I'm not sure if we have enough space on the cart.
We are slightly overburdened already when it comes to the amount of people we're traveling with.
I would hate to leave him in the river. That might be the best option.
Is everyone else warm enough? Kiara?
Kiara has been weaving flowers and not listening. I mean, everybody else is busy. She ain't skinning an owlbear. Just goes, what? Yes, I'm perfectly warm. And I can help if anybody else needs warmth.
Honestly, resting and recovering is important, just as important as other activities.
Reminds me, I should actually take a short rest, because that matters.
Yeah. I will say, you all may take a short rest. If you're taking one, I'm going to say, Novel, again, you're not going to be able to spend hit dice, but you will level up. So all of you, if you have not already made sure that your stats reflect your level up, you now resting around this fire together gain the benefits of both a short rest and your level up.
Okay.
You may spend any hit dice that you have by rolling them in order to regain health around the fire.
I just rolled a hit die and rolled math.
Nice.
I'm concerned because my understanding is that when you level up, usually it changes your shit and like resets your stuff.
Mm-hmm. It does. So keep an
That's-
eye on
yeah.
what your HP was before you hit that level up.
I'm just rolling that.
I'm comfortable with saying that I didn't really get the benefits of a short rest since I also helped with skinning the owlbear.
Okay.
It'll kind of ding my spell slots, but I'm fine in terms of health. So
Kiara now has 79 hit points total.
Oh,
Woo.
hell yeah.
Nice.
I got 14 more. That's pretty
Yeah.
sexy.
I'm just at
That is
49.
sexy.
I got an 11.
I only got
I was
9
very
more.
happy with that.
Wait,
got
are
10
you
more.
49?
Nice.
Yeah, I'm at 49. Hey Alex, you wanna be nice to a old wizard and let me round it out at 50? I just like the
Sorry.
number.
Wait, oh,
I know. Oh,
did I just hit 100 hit points?
did
Jesus
you?
Christ.
What?
Fucking paladins, man.
I'm at around 100.
I'm 79.
Matthias Markart.
Wait, how did that happen?
Do you have the tough feat?
No.
I think you took.
Did I?
What's your con? +3?
I thought you did.
I have plus 18 from Constitution. And it's
That's
9 levels. So I can't do math. Oh god. I have 100 hit points.
Hell yeah.
Whoa.
Congratulations. I have not had a lot of parties with a player past 100 hit points.
I was
So
just
that
at
is-
like 80 something. What's
Well,
happening?
you also. It probably regained you some health too, right?
I imagine so.
That's
Or is
nice.
there a paladin thing that does it?
No?
No, yeah, you're at 100. Pretty sexy. Okay. You are sitting around this fire, resting. Neve is kind of looking into the fire and turning her short swords over. They are still a bit bloody. She's wiped them off in the snow a little bit. And I think Owaishu noticed this, but Neve kind of quirks an eyebrow for a moment, and the fire just blooms.
Yeah, Oash notices it and does puff a little. Doesn't do anything at the moment.
For the watchers, I will say this. I've said this to Sarah as well, but Neve has now gained her first level in wizard.
Wow.
My little wizard baby. Don't worry, she's gonna be fighty.
Yeah, she
have it
is
on
going. I'm gonna just say it to everyone, but
Okay.
Neve is going to be a blade singer.
Yeah!
Pretty.
Yeah.
Nice.
Rogue wizard, baby.
Our other.
That is good.
Excellent.
Okay, I'm thinking of what we're gonna do with this body. I feel bad leaving it in the river because that's where it died. I also, I think to Matthias, getting eaten by creatures is not like a terrible fate. At least for him, that's kind of like how a lot of
It's
shit
kind of
works in the
bone.
wastes.
Yeah.
Yeah, recycle, reduce, reuse, reanimate.
Who does show?
But Matthias as well. You have a strange sense as you're looking at this body. It kind of similar to, I think, a sense you had had when you would cast a spell during the fight, but you're still just like vaguely aware of the amount of creatures that have died in this area.
It's fucking loud here.
And there's something about the owlbear corpse especially that's been like skinned and laid open that it keeps like tingling your senses a little. Especially considering what Vice said about not having enough room to carry this body.
Yeah. Anything else that I glean from that?
I'll say to you, Sloane, that I'm hinting that this might be a good time to use the new ability that we discussed you having.
Oh?
Ooh?
Wait, I have to check and see which one. You might need to send me a message because I'm bad at remembering things.
I'll send you a message right now. Because I think it's a good time for it.
Did we manage to get some meat off the owlbear?
Yes.
Yeah.
You've been
okay.
cooking up some owlbear.
Okay.
Fucking up some owlbear. Fucking it up. Oh, I have a message from Alex. Oh, Jesus! Alex! Oh my god. That's
What are you doing?
Oh.
What's happening?
Oh my god. Okay.
Are we Frankensteining some shit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't wrong.
There's this new UA that was released for the Paladin.
Oh.
Yeah.
Share with the class.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Okay, I have to see if this is going to cost me a spell slot just to see.
I'll pull it up and check.
Thank you
but
for checking.
You do your whatever you're feeling, Matthias, it would
Okay.
react to, and I will mechanic it.
Okay. He's looking at this owlbear. And he's looking at this body on the ground. And just kind of like is very quiet and pensive. And then he's going to Does he leave the circle of the fire? I think he probably does. I think that he stands, and Matthias slowly begins to walk towards the corpse of this owlbear, and is going to bend down and place a hand in the snow and get down on his knees next to the corpse. And is just gonna squint at it like he's trying to figure something out. And furrows his brows and kind of like shakes his head a little bit with that feeling that is pressing into his mind. And he's going to press his hand into the snow. And is going to focus and pray and cast Find Steed.
Yes. Okay. So here's how it works. you always have the Find Steed spell prepared, and it doesn't count against the number of spells you can prepare. You can cast the spell once without expending a spell slot, and you regain the ability to do so when you finish a long rest. That sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah, that
So
sounds
we'll
pretty
say
good to
once
me.
per long rest, you can expend this ability. So, Matthias, as you are leaning over this owlbear, the steam that is issuing off of the body, just the heat of it and the gore exposed to the elements, stops. And then the meat that you haven't cut away, the discarded bits of the pelt, all that blood, first frosts over the way your armor did as you had stepped out of the river. And then the meat and blood of it, all that heat and life that's issued away, just with a cracking sound freezes over entirely. And pushing its way out of this icy structure, just breaking through it, the massive joints bend back up. And the claws have been removed, the beak has been taken, but this hollow structure smashes its way out of the body, the bones coming together, held by these icy strands, almost like winter's breath on glass, as a hulking skeleton builds itself together in front of you.
He is shocked. Like, mouth agape as he watches this happen. This, like, objective monstrosity that climbs out of its carcass and stands in front of him. And he just, like, breathes into the night air for a second and then is going to reach a hand forward out of the snow and try and touch this thing's face.
As you reach forward, kind of pressing your hand against the skull of this creature, where you can see the beak has been kind of cut off, there's this empty space for a jaw. A billowing out, a cloak of white falls over it in the same kind of bleached color of your, I would say, of your divine smite, like that kind of magic. A breath of wind blows over the campfire for a moment. You all feel the chill. And then lighting up within the eyes of the skull, you see two black points. Just sort of hovering there. And it bends down beneath your touch. The way Find Steed works is that you summon a spirit. It assumes the form of an unusually intelligent, strong, and loyal steed. So it's smarter than a normal owlbear would be. This is going to use the statistics of, I think, a warhorse. Although you can, of course, it is an owlbear. It understands you. Your steed usually would have an intelligence of lower than this, but it has an intelligence of 6, and it understands a language that you speak, so it could be common, but it could be another language entirely. You have an instinctive bond with it. While you are mounted on your steed, you can make any spell you cast that targets only you, also to target your steed. If you cast something like Heroism or False Life or something on yourself, you can also give your steed additional hit points or bravery or anything like that. And when it drops to 0 hit points, it disappears. While your steed is within 1 mile of you, you can communicate with it telepathically. And at any point as an action, you can release the steed and cause it to disappear.
He has his hand on this skull and is just, like, looking into the tiny dark pinpoints that, like, glow in the dark. And he just, like, looks into the tiny dark pinpoints that, like, glow in the dark. And he just, like, looks into the tiny dark pinpoints that, like, glow in the dark. And he just, like, looks into the tiny dark pinpoints that, like, glow in the dark. And he just, like, looks into the tiny dark pinpoints that, like, glow in the dark. And he just, like, looks into the tiny dark pinpoints that, like, glow in the dark. And he just, like, looks into the tiny dark pinpoints that, like, glow in the dark. And he just, like, looks into the tiny dark pinpoints that, like, glow in the dark. And he just, like, looks into the tiny dark pinpoints that, like, glow in the dark. And he just, like, looks into the tiny dark pinpoints that, like, glow in the dark. And he just, like, looks into the tiny dark pinpoints that, like, glow in the dark. And he just, like, looks into the tiny dark pinpoints that, like, glow in the dark. And he just, like, looks into the tiny dark pinpoints that, like, glow in the dark. And he just, like, l seem to be this creature's eyes, for lack of a better word, and just is staring into them and feels this connection, and it is so strange to him in that it is immediate and instinctual and secure. And he sort of raises his other hand to put it on the other side of the skull and just says, "Hello, beast."
Beast sort of huffs. There's no air that comes out, but the shoulders roll back, the bones within this sort of hovering white light casing, and it lowers its head. You can see where the sort of massive pelvis of this creature, its bent joints, all meet. There's a space where it seems even you, a massive man, would be able to fit on its back.
And he's just sat there for a hot second and kind of like strokes his blackened fingers over the like smooth bone of the skull.
It makes a real funny noise, like chalk.
No, he doesn't do that anymore.
Oh.
Yeah, I
But
rolled-
yeah,
And
Maddie's
then
just doing that.
as he's like sitting there, he's like there for a second, and then a tension comes back into his body, and he kind of like looks over his shoulder back at the campfire.
The moment this thing arose, Awaish began a very quiet laugh that quickly escalated into like shrieks of almost insane laughter, looking at what Matthias has brought forward, and begins to like lose their breath. They're laughing so hard.
What's funny? What?
Interesting.
I don't know what's stranger, what you just did, or them laughing like that.
Well, it was so what Owish did is so strange. It was kind of in character, but Matthias, are you like connected to the afterlife now that you've died? And can you do this to every skeleton we see?
No. No. I don't think so. I just...
He's never done it before.
No, this is new. I just felt something, and I acted on it.
You are slowly turning into a character from stories I heard as a child. The Dark Prince comes in on an undead steed.
I'm not a prince.
Remember that one.
It just happened.
The vibes are vibing, is all I'm saying.
I don't
Are
think
you-
Prince is quite high.
Ooh.
It's
You have
King?
something to tell us, Valerian?
no, it's nothing like that. I think that he's here to help us. I think he's here to help him, and points to the lump on the ground of the dead body. We didn't have enough space, and now we do.
Oh, fair. I will say the only thing that does not quite fit is normally it's like tall, dark, and handsome superhero. So you would have to dye your hair, maybe.
I'm glad you all find this very amusing.
It's terrifying,
Very.
but it's helpful.
But in a good way. You know, like that thrilling kind of terrifying, the shiver down your back kind.
Have I ever heard of stories of things like this? of like a legendary character with a bone steed?
You can give me a history check.
Matthias
I
is
can-
trying to.
I
While
mean-
that's happening, I'm trying to catch Oasia's eye and see like what the fuck they were laughing about. Matthias is trying to like catch their
Laughing
eye
at
and like
you.
figure out why they were laughing.
Nat
I'll take an
20,
insight
baby,
check.
plus 5, 25. I
Nice.
don't know why I got that. You're gonna have to make up something.
Fuck.
Honestly, I wasn't gonna give it to you without a high roll like that.
Yes! Yes! King of stories.
Novel. This is not... Okay, the first thing that comes to mind is that there was a famous necromancer who was exterminated by the Raj. Like, previously...
Oh yeah, because the Raj doesn't allow doesn't allow
It-
necromancy.
No, it doesn't. The first necromancer who works in the employment of the Raj happens about 80 to 100 years in the future. And you are familiar with them from another campaign.
Yeah.
But necromancy is definitely outlawed in the Raj, unless it's kind of specifically related to, like, the reincarnation of life under the worship of Bane. So it's like, continuing the lifeline, sort of unholy necromancy for other purposes is considered wild magic. But this is not like a recent thing. This is like Kiara might have said, certain stories might romanticize it now, but warnings of the dangers of necromancy and undead armies come more from previous forms of the wild before the Raj ever came to power. This is when Abjur was not just one empire, but multiple smaller kingdoms and groups that didn't have a common name, and therefore those names have been lost. But there was a domain of a necromancer king who was killed by the forces of Kiara's family over 300, 400, 500 years ago.
Okay. Cool.
Do you want to give me an insight check, Matthias?
I rolled insight and I got a 4. But I was saying that it's not necessarily him just trying to with his own brain figure it out. It's more of a sometimes, during social interactions, someone will do something that doesn't make sense to you. And I will often employ a look where I look at them and I'm like, huh? And try and get them to explain themselves. And that is the look that Matthias is giving away, where it's like, what the fuck? Why are you laughing?
As a reminder, you're not actually roommates in the campaign. I mean, kind of, but not really.
That's true. Oash is raking their eyes over you. And as they come back up to your eyes and you give them that look, her smile almost widens in this strange caricature that almost stretches their face. A bit in the way that you don't expect. You know that Oash is a creature of flesh, but it almost looks as if a smile is being
Right.
stretched over a skeleton. And thank you, Ray.
Sorry. I
And
just summoned a
as-
skeleton.
And says, just a few details about you that I'm recalling in this moment.
Which details?
I can say them out loud if you'd like.
I'm gonna turn back around to his owlbear skeleton. Not meanly.
No, yeah. This, please.
Owlbear doesn't make me question things. I'm going to talk to the owlbear.
And turns back around, and then he's gonna stand up. How big is the owlbear skeleton?
7 foot.
An owlbear is a large creature. So
I think it's
beast.
7 foot. I remember
Beast
when I
is-
asked how big it was last time.
Yeah, Beast is eye level looking down at you. Like those points are nearly directly eye level with you. You all have completed
That's a
your
big boy.
short rest and gained the benefits of the level up as we discussed. It is growing quickly darker now. You find yourself underneath
Yeah.
the shadow of the coil of the serpent. The cold blossoming around you. Your fire seems more and more meager against this cold, and that body waits. In the distance as well, there is a now familiar sound, a baying laugh. Sounds far away, but familiar.
All right. This is going to take us off of our path, but it's worth it to attempt to lose their scent. Okay. So, gonna doff all the armor, pull his boots on, all that shit. I want to ask you, Alex, if they're based on Novel's survey of the land from when they were on top of the stone serpent, if we can find a path that is going to take us to land that wouldn't be like 100% exposed, like if it's hilly or has rocks or anything like that, that would take us off the beaten path but wouldn't put us in like total exposure. You know?
I had said to Novel that their survey would allow you to bypass the requirements for whatever kind of survival or navigation check you would need to make for the next leg of your journey, so you are able to do so. It is growing dark, so I don't need necessarily any kind of navigation check, but
Okay.
I want a general sense of how well the party is feeling. How
thing.
stealthing? Okay.
Yeah.
Then
I think
give me a stealth check, all of you.
Okay.
But subtract. I'm gonna subtract a 1 from whatever the average is, considering how cold it is.
Okay.
considering it's getting darker with stealthing, Barden is gonna take someone's arm. Cause I can't see in the dark, baby.
Hey, Alex.
No.
Yes.
Can I was gonna actually no. Would using flame glow would that cause a disadvantage on stealth?
Your tiger?
No. Just like my light,
your
but
light.
for being shiny.
Yeah, your reflavored light. You can direct it forward to illuminate your path and where you're stepping, not
Okay.
like this. So if you, for example, put on a holy symbol and then like pull your sleeve over it, it'll help you not step on any kind of like icicles or frozen leaves to make noise.
I forgot about the
okay, so then-
stuff I was getting with 9th level. Very excited about it. Sorry to interrupt. Keep going.
Kiara will do that for Novel.
Nice.
Excellent.
I mean, Barden's still holding your arm though, just because I can.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Well,
got
she-
19.
I think Kiara can see.
You should
Yeah,
be
I
able
think
to.
everyone but me has
Yeah.
night vision.
Yeah.
Dark
Rip.
vision. Night vision, just in green.
I did roll with disadvantage. I got a 17.
Okay, 17.
I rolled with disadvantage and I got a 9.
All right,
19.
14. Ooh.
excellent.
I rolled
30.
good for once.
A 30. Jesus.
I got a natural 20.
Oh,
yes.
fucking A.
Yeah,
Carry
that'll
in
do
the
it.
team.
That'll do it.
Okay.
Help.
All right. Then you move very stealthily. This is another factor that's related. Matthias, even with your armor, this is as a general group check, is more about the path that you are taking. So making sure the path you're taking is not one that is easily followed, which means that you do at first actually follow the river. The way that the water washes on the bank, the noise that it makes at night makes it pretty easy to disguise your tracks as you move forward. I do want to say one thing as you are packing up and heading out. You know the way that you're going. Novel, you are able to point between this coil of the serpent and the next, an area that you think might be very well suited to your purpose. That altar that you pass away from as you pick up the body, put it on the cart. Matthias, are you riding Beast?
I think he's put the body on Beast. I don't know if it can take 2 bodies, so he might just be leading the creature.
Leading is fine. Okay, yes. As you lead the creature away from that altar, the carved skull of it, you glance back for a moment, and within the skull, you see 2 black points in the eyes.
Oh. Would anyone be annoyed if I checked that? Would anyone be
Go for it.
irritated
May
if
yet?
I took a look? Okay. I'm gonna go and take a look at that real quick. Just as we're passing by, I'm gonna...
Yeah. Everyone is on the carts, packed up, as you just go and step over and take a quick look.
Also, all
What's
I can
in-
think of is like the deboned owlbear that remains. Like that's just
A fully
very
deboned
interesting.
owlbear.
Yeah.
What an insane thing to happen upon.
Yeah. Imagine coming across that. How do you explain that?
Okay. This thing, eyes.
It's dark, so you think maybe it's your imagination. You have to step over and take a closer look at this altar.
I'm gonna pop off a divine sense.
Okay.
Anything affected by the Hallow spell or know the location of any celestial fiend undead within 60 feet.
There is no celestial fiend or undead within 60 feet. This altar is a sanctified place.
Shit.
But it has been affected by the life that has been lost within this area. Under your protection. The divine sense is like you've had your hand on a hot stove and you just realized when you released the divine sense that your hand was on the hot stove and you want to pull it off as soon as you can, but you can't. Something is wrong. Something is deeply wrong.
Shit. We need to leave. Okay.
It's not just that. It's the owlbear, this ability manifesting here. You don't often get any kind of even a hint towards a missive from your deity, Matthias.
Yeah.
The maw never speaks. But everything is telling you that it is your job and your duty to lay this man to rest.
Fucking shit. I can't do it here. We have to leave.
You can't do it here. This place will not heal until you take care of his death.
All right. He looks towards the body on the owlbear and towards the group. Let's go. And we're gonna march on out of there.
You begin to set off. I think this is a nice place to take a little bio break. How does that
Bio break.
sound?
Cool.
Cool.
Right back.
All right.
we'll be
Thank
right
you guys
back.
for watching. We'll be back very soon. We're going to take a little break and then we'll be back with you.
Bye! Hello.
Hello. Welcome back once again to Strange Hungers. The party sets off with their Arkhams, their goats, these big old fuzzy guys with their curved horns, and the rest of your materials. It is dark, but you navigate fairly adeptly with the combined expertise of your party as well as the meager light that Kiara's spell gives off. It does grow dark rather swiftly, made more so by the fact that you're traveling between different trees, no longer in the sort of open clearing made by the traveler's path or the serpent.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you are doing as you travel?
I think we could potentially all help out in trying to cover our tracks. Like, just... It doesn't even have to be for forever. Just the first couple of, like... the first distance that we go. I think it would be beneficial to try and cover things up. Spend extra time to try and cover things up.
Mm-hmm. Are there any, like, pine trees?
Plenty.
I'm just gonna 101 Dalmatians us, just behind, like...
Yeah. A wishful mage hand to the same effect.
Okay.
Martin just like,
Wow, it looks like a pine tree went through here.
Sloan, you can have a point of inspiration for that.
Thank you very much.
Look, there could be dryads here, we don't know.
Certainly true.
Great.
Okay.
Good.
Also, you have carried You don't want to bring too much fresh meat with you since it does give off a scent. So I'm going to say that you've consumed a lot of more meat and cooked it and everything. So you're pretty much set for rations for today. You don't need to expend any. And
Well, except for Kiara. Because Kiara's veggie.
That's true.
Isn't she?
Yes.
Am I meant to remember? Yeah.
but Kiara's got, I think you had some left over. Well, yeah, if you want to spend a Mark 1 ration, Kiara. Let's see. And
Dried tofu strips. Little tofu jerky.
Here's my
Turkey.
question. Does purify food and water make things not meat?
We have asked.
Sure.
You've asked this question before.
Yeah,
I
I'd
think.
love that. Truly, I'd love it.
You're
Yeah, because we were like, was it halal? And it's like, is it?
yes, like purging it of all the
Of
animal
blood.
cells and replacing
Yeah.
them with plant cells.
If you can do that,
I think-
you could have some meat.
I'll say it's also just related to Kiara's personal beliefs and preferences in terms of food. If it's like vegetarian in the spirit of an animal did not die for it, then no.
Yeah.
But if it's vegetarian in the like it does not contain meat cells, then yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's really a
curious, 'cause-
digestive thing, you know? Someone who's vegetarian is going to have a hard time horking down a bunch of meat.
Ask me how I know. I've been accidentally fed meat, and it was not pretty.
Oh,
It didn't go all the way
God.
down, actually.
hmm Now we have about an hour left for today as well. I want to make sure that we're keeping close to our time. So I'm going to say that after another few hours of travel, you find your way to a place where you're able to set down some tents between the trees. You travel for another 2 hours and you are into darkness. It's night.
How's Taz doing? Are you still fractured? Are you good?
No, he got his shit together. He hasn't been since right before we realized we needed to leave.
Good. Okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, please.
I just kind of want to know how far it feels like we need to get until we are in the safe zone.
You travel for 2 hours and then you hit a point when you're just exhausted.
Yeah. I feel like that's enough anyway.
Yeah.
Kiara is going to. I'm going to read my character sheet to see how. I know I have it permanently prepared, but I don't know if I can cast it without using a spell slot yet. But Kiara is going to, when we decide where we're going to stay, Kiara is going to send the tiger out to patrol and like clear the areas.
I forgot about the tiger.
Fire tiger.
Psycho.
Fire tiger.
Tiger. Tiger?
Fire tiger.
You're
Like,
yeah, so you're casting your flaming tiger in the non-damage dealing but patrolling
Yeah.
aspect. I think you have to, just for fun flavor, I think you all set out and immediately like get a campfire going. You're not sure you want to keep it going throughout the night because obviously it might be able to be seen, but you get the campfire going and then Kiara, you are just able to sort of kind of almost like you're coaxing a kitten or something, or like a cat, pull a tiger out of the flames.
Ooh. I love that.
Cute.
just the concept of having a match and pulling a huge tiger out of it.
Oh, it's
is
tight.
great to
It's
me.
fucking tight.
We need to keep that in mind. Keep that in mind.
Kiara does give the flame tiger scritches.
Give me a little more. I want to know. Are you leading the tiger around, showing it the area you're going to be in? How do you interact with it? Is it?
So when the tiger
yeah.
comes out, Kiara is going to. I mean, it's big, so I think it's like a flaming sphere itself. I believe is a 5-foot
Yeah.
radius. It's huge.
It's
It's
a
a
big-
big old tiger. So Kiara doesn't have to bend down, but Kiara more like looks up to it, gives it like under. Oh, hold on. Oh.
There's the baby.
Gives it like under chin scritches. It's that big. And Kiara will say, in Infernal, Jaake dekho yahan kya hai? Just means like, go take a look around, tell me what's there. And it's very much like the, you know how you talk to your beloved pets, like, aw, sweetie. You want to go take a look around and tell me what's there? And like a little nuzzle.
The tiger just kind of like pushes its face over you. It is incorporeal and it doesn't cause any harm, but you can feel the flames rush around your face, warming you up. And it kind of stomps, like making biscuits next to you, the snow melting by your feet where it's stomping, and then kind of swooshes off into the trees. You guys can see the glow through the trees, and then the glow kind of changes a little bit, dimming like coals. So it's not giving off light to predators, but you can tell that it is stalking in circles.
Are there like a little bit brighter bits of orange where the stripes are? So you can see where the stripes go back and forth.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty.
Amazing.
But as soon as you send it off, Bond's just like to Kiara, it's like, now, would I be burned if I was very nice and asked to pet it?
It.
Then
Not this
her,
version.
him.
Anything you want. But this one won't hurt you. But if it's the one from earlier, be very careful. That one is,
Oh yeah, that's more like grrr. This one's more like
No, that one's
Purr.
angry fire. Yeah, this one's a protector. Yeah, it keeps us safe.
they were lovely. I hope I can pet it at some point.
Yeah, just ask first.
Oh, of course, I wouldn't. No, ask very nicely. I love that.
You unpack and begin to set up your tents for the night.
I
Yeah.
think while we have the fire up, Barden would take the watch as long as the fire was up.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I'm also going to pull the sword out because I know the sword has dark vision. I don't, but the sword can
Smart.
see. So I'm just like
True.
very gently putting it in, just like, could you keep an eye where I can't? To Titan's Wrath.
I will keep watch. But there are
Oop.
things I cannot do for you, sire. Did I cut out?
Oh no. What do you mean?
I am an extension of your awareness.
Okay. Well, I'm sure we can do it together. We'll be fine. Sorry, the idea of a sword doing basically a
Love that.
shrug.
Oh, go ahead.
The wolf's eyes just being like on the sword.
Awaish will go up to Neve and just almost like they've sobered in the time of this journey that they've taken. Takes Neve's scarf in their hands and prestidigitates warmth onto it, and then gestures to Tazriel to kind of step away from the fire a bit.
Yeah, Taz will do so.
Is it okay if I just go to sleep, or do you want me to help keep a watch?
I think we have enough people to keep watch.
Go on,
Okay.
get some rest.
Neve goes into one of the tents after you set them up. All right. Taz and Awaish, you step to the side a little bit. You don't want to leave too far, but you can kind of see the edge of where the tiger has tread and stay within that circle.
Mm-hmm. They keep their voice low as they say, "How has training been going with Neve?"
Very well, actually. Is learning not to be surprised when I attack, and from all accounts, she held her own in this fight.
Can you push her harder?
To what end? How? What goal are you aiming for here?
If she makes a mistake with you, you will not kill her.
Oh.
The worst. I think Awish takes a bit of a pause with that, looks down at the ground, and then looks to the side, not making eye contact with Taz as they say this next part. And they say, I have taken a great deal of care in my life. Whoever I consider close to me, for their sake, I have been the only one in immediate danger. Having that dynamic shifted is not a comfortable one for me.
Taz just kind of nods knowingly at that. Very well. I will push her harder. Just, don't be upset about what that means.
You used to fight with Vel?
I used to fight with Vel.
You are a person of some demonstrative emotion. How? You seem to feel anger and let it pass through you like a spark through the edge of a wall. How do you do it without allowing it to burn you?
Perhaps you're misunderstanding what you're saying. I don't think that is something I'm quite adept at. If any of these, any kind of lowers his voice some more, wild occurrences of mine are to speak to that.
Thought that the Raj were quite free with their emotions.
Maybe for those of us that aren't bound by an oath, a willing oath.
Fair enough. Thank you.
Of course.
Go ahead.
Taz goes to his tent, and he doesn't leave for the rest of the night unless he's on watch, but he's not sleeping.
Waste joins Neve.
You aren't sleeping, Tazril? Is this intended to cause exhaustion? Or are you still trying to rest?
He doesn't want to sleep because he's afraid of what his dreams are going to be like after the last thing. So I don't know if I, VJ, would love if he could get a rest still while staying awake, but I don't think that works mechanically. So listen, I'll take what it means as he tries not to sleep.
Well, I will allow you to take another short rest. Everyone's still going to be taking just a short rest here. So you can take another short rest. I'll give you a constitution saving throw to see if Taz is able to stay awake.
$12.
Okay. You stay up, I'll say you stay up most of the night, but Taz, your eyes do close at some point. It's enough to prevent you from getting exhaustion and to keep your sleep mostly dreamless. You don't really fall into a deep REM sleep, but you are quite tired. If you don't sleep the next night, you will take 2 points of exhaustion instead of 1. So I'm delaying it for you, but it'll be worse if you don't. Okay. You are all Tazriel and Awaish finish their conversation. Taz, you can also return to attend to sleep. Novel, you're keeping the first watch?
Yep.
Anyone want to keep watch with them?
I don't know how we can spread this out. I was just going to say that whoever is on watch, Matthias will just request that they also keep an eye on the body so that nothing eats it.
Yeah. I think Awaish will trance for the first 4 hours, and then we'll join whoever has the last watches and help or take it themselves.
Maybe Kiara then?
Kiara will take first watch, and then that way at least we can snuggle and share body heat together.
That's fair.
All I'm imagining is if Beast is just stood or sat around, I'm just imagining the rib cage around the body, like keeping it safe. Like just sat, protecting.
He's probably sitting with the body. Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
Wait, so is it Novel and Kiara first watch?
Novel and Kiara, yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, we've got our charm things, but definitely, like, snuggling up his body and just, like... At least we're between the trees. It's a little bit of cover, at least. Good.
Good.
I just like the idea of Barden's just, like, sat back on a trunk or something. They managed to find a tree trunk and just, like, coax Kiara just to sit between so they can sort of coat over them as well. So they're just huddled up in one big coat and they're just like... Keep an eye out.
The two of you sit as the fire dies away. You are surrounded by the tents. You've got your coats on that keep you warm, but you do still have to push together for warmth. Could I take a perception check from one of you with advantage, or both of you?
I was gonna guide myself if we want to roll separately.
My perception's +6.
Yeah, mine is +4. So why don't I guide you?
Okay, cool. Oh god, don't. Now it's gonna.
So advantage and a D4.
Okay. Okay, that's an 18 plus my favorite D4, which Shucks gave me. That is 3, 21.
Okay.
Not bad.
Fairly good. You can tell by watching the light of this tiger patrol around, very faintly, that there is not much coming to disturb you. It's kind of a bubble of quiet. You can hear the huffs of breathing of your companions, but you don't think anything is sneaking up on you for this first watch. You are safe.
That's nice.
Is there anything the two of you wanted to talk about?
Not Kiara's gonna show off new magic.
Do it.
Yeah. Well, out of character, Kiara took a level up in Warlock.
Oh!
Yes.
Yeah, so it's more Magic Kitty time. But one of the things that they got was create bonfire.
Oh, hell yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I think we're just gonna play with that. We're gonna start little fires in the snow and then immediately put them out. It's kids playing in the snow at night. Let's be real.
What about I love the idea that you start playing tic-tac-toe with bonfires.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like,
Excellent.
what kind of shapes can you do?
Ooh, yes, and we're gonna like.
Is it just round, or can you do?
Well, I
Is
think
it
I
like
think that's gonna be it.
sparklers?
What if I could? Oh, let me first try the shape of your sword, and then like Kiara will try to make a little fire in the shape of a sword.
It's
and
difficult.
yeah, I'm just trying to see if there's yeah, it can fill up to a 5-foot cube, but then like
Mm-mm.
and it's until
And
the spell
also-
ends, so Kiara can drop it, I think.
Mm-hmm. It is. Yeah, it's a bonfire that lasts for a minute. You can summon it and then immediately let it
Mhm.
disperse. It does ignite flammable objects. So, Kiara, give me just a regular dexterity check. Since You're
Okay.
playing with fire,
Let's not
literally
set
in a
the
forest.
tents on
Oh
fire.
my god.
Listen, you know, there's a reason Kiara's casting it on the snow.
Thankfully, it's very...
That's a dex check at 16.
16. Okay, you don't set anything important on fire. There's a brief incident with a bush right by the edge, but I think because Novel is right there, you two are able to put the bush out without anyone noticing.
So just like, pop, pop, pop.
Oh my
But
god.
there's
Roll
just,
on
like,
it! No, roll on it! Extinguish it! Stop,
I'm not
drop, and
ruining
roll!
this coat. No, it's just like desperate whispering. It's like, I'm not ruining this coat.
Okay. And Kiara just starts like kicking snow onto it.
You're the one that's fire resistant.
That is a very good point. Kiara starts rolling on the fire.
Oh my god.
There's just a point where they eventually calm down, and like Novel is watching the patrol of the cat going back and forth, and just cuddling around Kiara, just like rubbing on her arm underneath the coat. It's just like, what's it like to control magic like you do? Like, to have it in you. Like, I've read about it, and it seems like this great thing, but what's it like?
I-
Especially fire. Like, Siren doesn't really like fire. Not in the library.
Oh, fire is just a part of me. It's in my blood, but I imagine. I mean, you have magic in you that you've always had as well, right?
Oh, no. Any magic I do is the sword. I mean, apart
No.
from the lights.
I meant the shifting. You can change every aspect of who you are. That is magic. Right? Of a different sort, sure, but
I mean,
it's a part of you, right?
yeah, I suppose. I've just always seen it as biology. What I am. You know, it's just inherent. But I suppose if you see magic, you've always been able to do it?
No, some of it is who I am through my heritage, but some of it I got from spending time at the temple and training. And other parts of it I was gifted when I made my promises.
Promises?
Yes, my some of what I can do comes from the Emperor. My great
know.
great grandfather.
I know some of that. Like, I'm not. That's big news. Like, no one, like, rarely, like, people, especially Siren, wouldn't let me not know about that. That's. Do you like it?
It makes sure I'm never alone. I have Agnida to
No,
speak with.
I think your charm does that. I don't think you could ever be alone. You're too nice.
Maybe I think I got nicer over time. I don't know. I was cousins to play with, but I also spent a lot of time alone growing up.
I can understand that. For different reasons, obviously.
But I
But
mean, I suppose I always kind of felt that in you, but I think it makes us more grateful for the friends we do have.
I mean, you are the first friend to see me and hug me. Who I am.
You're the first best friend I've ever had.
I think Barden's been watching the tiger this whole time, just talking as they go, and then just actually looking down at Kiara and just going, I'm so happy to hear that. And just, like, completely swaddles her, just big hug, and the strength that you know doesn't come from muscle, it comes from whatever Noel is. Just, like, that unnatural strength, just, I love you very much.
Ooh, and you know, it's so beautiful to get to choose who I can love.
You didn't get that before?
Well, I was surrounded by people I was related to. Or were, you know, tasked to take care of me, so it was more that familial love that comes from just being together all the time, but we didn't have to be friends. We chose to.
It was a very good choice.
Yes. Best.
And just, like, a little bit lower, just closer to you, like, knocking her forehead against yours, and just very quietly, I think it was the best choice I could make. And then, keep an eye out.
Is it bad that I like your novel voice better? It's so
I
cute.
do too.
It's so cute.
Do you want to know something?
Yes.
We don't know where it comes from.
You were just
My
born
papa
with it?
doesn't talk that way. Even to Siren.
It was in your blood.
Maybe. Or maybe I got to talking with someone before I met them. Don't know.
How old were you when your papa found you?
Oh. He doesn't actually know. I mean, it's hard to age something that you don't really know much about. But he thinks I was a toddler, so not too old.
Were you speaking yet?
Apparently not a language he got for a while. But yeah, I was quick to copy, as you know, makes sense.
Maybe that's where you got it from. Those were the first voices you heard. And you just knew in your body how to speak that way.
Wonder who they were.
Knowing what I know about you, whoever they were, I'm sure they loved you very much.
Big squeeze. But doesn't, like, big huggy squeeze, but just doesn't. It just continues to watch. Actually, a little kiss on her forehead.
Oh.
And continues to watch.
Who do we wake up next?
Is it Awaish?
Awish, right?
Probably.
Awaish wanted to do their trance.
If you spend 4 hours on a watch, then you would be waking up a wish. But
Yeah.
Vice
Out
takes
here.
over.
yeah,
Okay.
'cause usually you spend about 2, so you can still get that 6 hours of sleep.
Hmm.
Barden just picks up Kiara because Kiara's already on her lap, so just like, good night, Vice, good luck. Okay.
Yeah,
Carl's
that's
doing the
right.
best.
I'm getting
Yeah.
Princess carried to bed.
Yeah.
Good night.
I think Taz will actually come out of the tent when the other two go into theirs and sit down with Vice.
Ah, excellent. Okay. That's real.
Hmm.
You keep an eye out to the east, I will hook to the west. Okay,
Very well.
you want to give me a perception check?
Yeah. Oh, fuck yeah. That is going to be a 22, Alex.
Excellent. Even through your exhaustion, the dreams you're avoiding keep your attention pretty sharp. You're constantly reminding yourself to stay focused. It gets very dark out here in a way that maybe reminds you a little bit of Uarnalbara. You spent most of your time in Abjor, kind of moving between cities, except for missions. So there's not a lot of light pollution necessarily, but this style of living definitely reminds you, yes, of Uarnalbara, the wide open spaces of that country.
Being out
Vice
here,
sits across from the fire from you, so you can look over each other's shoulders. Yes.
being out here reminds me a little bit of, not home, but Uarnalbara.
I have not spent much time in the canyons. I've heard it's nice though. In some places, I know that it is nicer nowadays, but 20, 30 years ago even, not so.
Yes, not so.
Well, if two countries seeming so diametrically opposed can become one,
There's hope.
this place is nothing like where I am from. Well, there are dunes of a certain sort, certain athletic activities, I suppose, and some of the creatures that range. So maybe not all too dissimilar, but I come from a much warmer climate.
Oh,
Have you traveled at all in the wine dunes?
Alex? No, I haven't. I've wanted to, but work's never called me out there, and I
Well, that
don't
makes
think
sense. I don't think a fire knight would be smiled at necessarily by the Asli.
I think I'd much rather just be Tazriel if I went out there.
Is that something you can do?
Just be Tazriel. Alex, correct me if I'm wrong. We do get leave, right? Like,
Yeah,
like do we
you do.
get? Okay.
Of course.
Yeah. I can take leave, be off the grid, and not be
Be
beholden
that
to
as
anything.
Be that as it may, a baker and a knight are very different. A baker can go places and not... I'm not very good with metaphors. What I'm saying is, even if you are a knight on leave, Tazriel, what you represent that does not go away. And I am not really of Bajau anymore. But it is strange to sit here across a fire and think that many of the family I grew up around are now at war. A quiet war, not active war, but at war with what you are.
I don't know what to say to that, Vice.
I know.
I had another reason for coming out and taking a walk with you.
Yes.
Have you heard any tales of out here somebody touching something they shouldn't? And of course you've heard that, but specifically with touching something and then strange silver like stitching appearing on their skin.
Silver stitching.
Mm-hmm.
I have not, no. You are right, I certainly have warned many young recruits against putting their hands in places that could be bitten off. But no, I'm sorry, nothing like that.
Tash just gets quiet at that.
But strange things you are here to investigate.
Is there a archive repository of such at the order? If you haven't heard of it, perhaps others have and written of it.
Certainly so. I would not consider myself a researcher. I am trained more in the blade than I am trained in the lore necessarily. But when it comes to things I've faced directly in the wastes, I am of a certain rank. I've seen more than most people. These places, they will change you in ways you can see and in ways you cannot. To be honest, Tazrael, I have seen horrible, horrible things here. I have seen a lot of lives lost. But the advice I would have given many years ago is not the advice I would give now. You have to hold on tightly to things to have a reason to fight. And as much as it stings to lose someone who watches your back, it is better to have it watched than not.
I know that all too well.
I am sure you do. I lost my husband to the fires and the blades of the rays. There can be no forgiveness for that. But I have lost 100 sons and daughters to these wastes. And I love them still. So what does that say about me?
The same thing it says about a lot of us.
Which is?
We love things that hurt us.
Wisdom from a fire knight.
Wasn't always a fire knight.
I suppose that is true. They did not hand you a sword in the cradle and say, go, stab, kill the monsters of the night.
No, not quite.
You know that's real. I will have to stay at the Order, most likely when your expedition travels deeper into the wastes. I have many duties, and there are things that us at the Order, we are in charge of protecting. But it is a shame. I have enjoyed very much my time that I've spent with you all. So, I will be sad to say goodbye.
And this big smile on Taz's face. If somebody would have told me that you would say that at the beginning of our journey, I would have thought them mad. But I am happily and pleasantly surprised. And you will be missed as well.
Well, I know that. If only because I think Markart does better with certain people around, and I am one of them. I am a voice of reason, after all. A group of idiots traveling through the wastes, making loud noises and touching things, and no. You might be lost without me.
I don't know about the loud noises part, at least on my end, but the rest.
No, that's true. Sometimes I don't know how a man of your size manages to walk so quietly.
Lots of training, lots of fear.
So, okay, well, I think our time is nearly up. You want to go wake the mage?
Yeah, so I shall go wake a wish.
That watch completes. Oash, it is your turn. Are you... do you want anyone to watch with you?
I'm gonna help.
Oh, hell yeah. I was going to say they'll do it on their own or they'll do it with someone else. The first hour they will spend resummoning Darren as they keep their watch.
Matthias and Oash, you find yourself by the fire. Well, the remains of the fire. It's out now.
Yeah, a little bit of a held gaze at Matthias, but then becomes absorbed in their work, at least for an hour. As if to say, I'm bookmarking the fact that you're here.
Acknowledged. I'll come back to you later.
Yes.
Are you casting Find Familiar as a ritual?
Yeah, so it'll take an hour and 10 minutes.
And you do have to expend a certain amount of, I believe, incense that you've already purchased.
Yes, 10 GP worth of charcoal, incense, and herbs that are consumed by fire in a brass brazier, but whatever.
I think you've inlaid some brass in the spellbook itself. So
yeah, I actually think there is like a series of pages that have been hollowed out, and then brass has been poured into the.
And after that hour and 10 minutes, as you two are sitting quietly, the book kind of folds closed from where it's sitting open on your lap, and then the eye on the cover, this sigil peels open, and you see it kind of rolls around until the pupil focuses on you.
Welcome back. Apologies.
Lightning.
I lost a bit of control.
No harm, no foul. Am I scuffed? Do I look okay? He kind of pulls himself up with the spider limbs.
Looks over to Matthias. What do you think?
Matthias pulls his eyes away from the dead body, and they land on Darren. Well, no, I'm sure you look just the same as before. A little scuffed.
Wow, how dare you? Do you need me to do anything, Master of Skies?
I think I'd prefer you close at the moment.
He folds himself back close, and then one little tendril of paper just kind of inches like an inchworm to pull the book up against your chest.
Oh my god, it's horrifying.
Do we need to roll perception, by the way, for our watch?
Yes, I just wanted you to complete that spell first. Perception from either both of you or one of you, as you like.
I'm doing my own roll.
And Matthias, I'm going to say you have advantage.
Hell yeah. I got a 12.
I got an 18.
19. Excellent rolls across the board on perception for this watch. Matthias and Awaish sitting quietly here. Again, you pushed into the night, so dawn begins to break towards the end of your watch. There are some more baying sounds that are coming, I think, probably back from where you came. These are not anything that would be close. It's more like hollow calls far in the distance. It seems like perhaps something is still on your trail, but they have not caught up to you. There are no sounds of things sneaking around. You also do note, however, that there's not a lot of animal life in this area. Maybe it's just the tiger and you can't hear, but it seems fairly quiet. However, towards the end of your watch, which I think you notice first, Matthias has been looking over a lot towards this dead body. The shadow of the body that's being cast as the dawn light starts to raise is thicker and darker than a regular shadow. It seems like the snow has blackened underneath the body.
Something on your mind. Or mark card. Or rather in your soul.
When I checked that altar before we left, there was something wrong. I think it has to do with him. I left because we needed to. But there's more that has to be done. I think I need to help him somehow. It's too dangerous to do a pyre here. And we can't bury him. But even then, even if we could, I think it feels like it's something beyond that. He's still attached. I think.
Still attached.
He's still here. I think. I mean, the way that he died. I don't know. I'm talking out of my ass, to be honest. But
Some do not go very gently.
What did you say? You're clipping out.
Yeah, sorry, I saw that I cut out. Oish said, some do not go very gently, even by violent means. I imagine, in certain times, if I had died within them, some may find the same difficulty in my court.
I think it's difficult when you... I mean, no one ever goes that way until they're dead. He hasn't been that way before, but I have.
Yes,
Maybe-
you have, haven't you?
I think I meant to help. In this way. That feels... right.
What would you do, noble?
I suppose I would walk.
A cold wind sweeps over the camp. For a moment, all the trees still. And then resume swaying.
Then walk.
I'll split from you. When everybody's awake. He's gonna stand up, and as the sun is rising, is going to, I think, rekindle the fire as best as he can to try and get something going just in case people need it. And hopefully... Go ahead.
The massive form of beast leans over and in empty jaws picks up the dead body. You can see the snow has been blackened where it lay.
Christ. Okay, holy shit.
But you go and light the fire. The rest of you all gain the benefits of a short rest, as well as, you know, having slept and all of that.
I would also like to stealthily pick up some of that.
Oh,
snow, if
as if he isn't immediately looking at Oash like they're gonna fucking pick this up. Someone dropped
Hi,
out.
DJ.
Go to the fucking emergency quad. What happened? Oh, he'll come back. But he's gonna check out the snow as well because of the black ice thing, but he's gonna like get shit going first. I'm just saying, there's no chance in hell that Matthias wasn't immediately like, yeah, we're just gonna pick that up.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna be difficult to do it stealthily. Matthias is. It makes sense that his attention is trained on this right now, but
Sure.
He'll turn his back as he's
maybe in a
picking up the
bit.
snow, or as he's picking up the fire.
I mean, I don't want to waste time with subterfuge here. If Awaish thinks Matthias's eyes are trained on it, they'll just take it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's less of that, and it's just like sees the snow, looks at Awaish, understanding, turns and fixes the fire.
Mm-hmm.
You
I
pick
thought
up
it'd be like,
handful
you know,
of
a
black
cat
snow.
does the thing, just like a cat's just watching you as they're about to do the thing, just like boop.
Knock something off the counter.
Mine.
What are you doing with the black snow?
I sure would like to identify it.
You want to cast Identify on it?
Yeah.
Okay.
If
You
detect
sense-
magic works better, I can do that.
Up to you.
Sure.
Identify does tend to be more for objects.
Can I actually hold this? Can I say that I do this later? Because I know we're coming up against time, and I want to respect people's time.
Yes, fair. I will. It's really easy, honestly. Which is to say that a wish wouldn't sense anything from this. It's not a kind of magic that
Okay.
has any bearing on their school of knowledge. It's entirely divine in nature.
I mean, that's something.
But there's no necromancy. There's no school. It doesn't
Sure.
ping anything.
Okay.
Divine, not in magic, but in vibes,
Mhm.
basically. Yes.
Well, divine
Uh,
vibes.
The rest of you wake up. Yes, Shan.
I was just going like divine. That wasn't a question. Don't worry. I think
Kiara as well. No, please.
I think
Yay.
it's nice if I think Varden maybe asks if they can sleep as novels sometimes. So as long as Kiara's up for it, there is novel snuggled up in all these layers and just waiting to be woken up. Or, they wake up and it's just like nuzzling against Kiara, just like, I think it is time to wake. Are we going? Come on. It's waking up. It's awful. As opposed to when Varden wakes up, Varden just on it from the training, but Novel being able to be themselves, just like, it's awful. I hate the morning.
Hello.
Oh, VJ?
Hello.
Oh, I was there for a second.
No face. No
Yay!
face.
Hello.
Hey!
Yay.
Unmute yourself and you'll be perfect.
I'm here.
Hey.
Yay. Okay.
What's your
The
wake routine?
Neve and Vice also wake up. I think Vice probably immediately goes to get some water boiling over the fire just to get some kind of breakfast started.
Oh, right.
I can't.
Okay.
Today.
Oh, the morning rolls.
Morning rolls.
Okay. All right. As soon as we're ready to go, Matthias will have a convo with everybody, but whatever people want to do before that.
I think we're ready.
Her is easy.
All right. Okay. As everyone's getting their shit situated, Matthias is gonna gather the group, probably by the fire. He looks uncomfortable, and pensive, and says, I think that I have to split from you. For a moment.
Well,
Not for a long time. But before we left, I checked in on that altar, and there is something is wrong with the place that we left, and I believe that it is connected to him, and gestures towards the dead body. I think that there's something there that I need to take care of. And it has to be me.
We can't come with you?
Yeah.
I think I have to do it alone.
What? Is this related to this new thing you've called mock art?
I certainly think it will help me.
Blessings come with obligations.
Yes. I won't leave. I won't leave it alone. This is more than I ever get. And this is what I'm supposed to do. I have to do it. You all will be safe with each other. You've proven that you can handle whatever is happening. If you push forward, I will be close behind you. I have this beast here. And I will find you again. I just need to take a small detour.
Keep notes.
Okay.
I'll try to remember to take notes. But you will be safe.
Yeah. We'll be fine. We've all got training, and we've got voices coming with us, or...
I don't know if I can follow where this paladin is going.
Okay. Well, just in case we get there before you do, we've got someone who can let us in. You know. Baden holds out her arm for him to, you know, be safe.
Yeah. He'll grab onto it and like give it a firm shake. And will like put a hand on Kiara's shoulder and give a squeeze and also like shake hands with Hazriel and Oesh and then Vice, and will very seriously, oh,
Hug from Grandma.
will pull her in for a hug and say, please God, keep them safe.
I am not the leader of this pack, Markart, but I have kept pack safe before I did not belong to.
Thank you. And he's gonna pat, and after having said goodbye to everyone,
Me too.
he'll like place a hand on Neve's. Oh, he will shake Neve's hand. Stay close to the group.
I will. Neve looks at you, Matthias, and as you pull your hand away, her hand is glowing. And then she squashes it.
Internet. And I am going to walk up to Beast, and he plants a foot on the forearm portion of the front leg and hefts himself up and over onto the skeletal back. Probably place something over top of there to be like a saddle. Look at how tall he is.
It's about, oh god, 7 plus like your torso is like 3. It's like you're just like 11 feet up there in the air.
Fucking Christ. That's a big boy.
And with your sword at your back on this horse, you do look a bit like a Grim Reaper, Matthias. With the...
Yeah, Baden's keeping this in mind to sketch in a bit.
Mhm.
Just like the lighting of the trees.
With the figure in its jaws of Hakon, this collapsed body, you're ready, Markart.
He gives one last look to everybody and lingers on Taz, and then nods and looks to Kiara next and just kind of like holds her gaze in a way that almost reads like, I'm sorry. And then he's gonna fucking... He digs his heels into the sides of this creature and is going to spur it forward into the snow, and he's gonna head, I think, probably towards where he knows is like the quickest way to like the vast expanse.
Mm-hmm. You move through the trees, and the rest of the party sees Matthias take off swiftly. As you navigate, the trees grow barer and barer, the white wood bleached, bereft of leaves until you are surrounded, as far as you can see, with porcelain arches of birch and then bone. The rest of you see Matthias leave your vision. You will set off on the next leg of your journey without your leader.
Time for the reign of terror.
Yeah, I was
Absolutely not.
thinking, like,
I'm leader now, bitch. I fly up in the air and lightning crackles on my hair, and I go, witness your new god.
okay,
And
I
then
think
Vice,
Alicia's going
Vice
Galadriel
beats you in the
on
head
us.
with a stone.
Yeah.
Ow.
Oh my god.
I'm just imagining it's going to be Vice with toddler reins on all of us.
Sorry, don't know what came
It's-
over me. Anyway, north.
Perfect.
And with that, we will leave our session there. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I do think we will try and have a session next week, if possible, but we will sadly be missing our dear, dear Sloan. Wish we weren't, but thank you so much. Let's run through our stuff. Thank you so much to One More Multiverse for our maps. We get to make some really cool, beautiful things, and they're coming out of beta soon, which is very exciting.
Oh,
They're
shit.
releasing the full thing. I mean, obviously, it's a pretty finished product in my opinion, but they're working on a lot of cool stuff related to that. So go check them out at their Discord. They've got a lot of cool stuff coming up. Also, thank you to Soundtail for our music, bringing us beautiful sounds. And I don't think there's an episode of Tragedy of Theologian this week, but you can catch up on other Total Party Kiss stuff. Oh, actually, is there?
There is a special episode
Yeah.
of a
Very special
another.
episode.
We have another Tales of Theologian. This one
Ooh.
DM'd by Depth, and it's
Ooh.
gonna be really, really cool. I don't know if they went with the concept that I pitched to them, but I pitched them a concept and it was super exciting. So hopefully we get to see that and it's gonna be awesome. So tune in for that tomorrow night. New folks are in there. I forget who's gonna be in there. I know Krail's gonna be there. I know that Christian and Serenity and Andre are gonna be there.
Ooh.
Gosh, am I missing anyone? I don't know. You have to
Maybe
show up.
Dylan,
You
I
have to be
think,
there to
is
find out.
playing.
Yes, Dylan is there.
Excellent. Yes, so tomorrow night here on our Twitch channel, you can check out the Tales of Theologian, as well as past episodes both of Strange Hungers and Tragedy of Theologian and our other fun one-shots and little things that we do here on our YouTube at Total Party Kiss, as well as stay tuned for updates on our socials at Total Party Kiss on Twitter, Instagram, things like that. We always have fun stuff coming down the pipeline. I think that is it. Does anyone have any other announcements or things that they want to do a quick shout out for? Any big streams or things coming up? No?
Oh, yes.
Yes, Pooja.
This afternoon, I will be on. I will be a part of a panel on Take This, which is going to be at 4 Central. And it's going to be about the joys, challenges, and needs of South and Southeast Asian gamers and their mental health journeys. Take This, of course, being a very prominent mental health nonprofit in the gaming space. And so the panel is going to have multiple licensed therapists, but also from the tabletop space, myself, KP11 Studios, and Werewolf Feels, aka Norden.
Yeah.
So please come check it out. You can find details about that and the link on my Twitter, but also otherwise it's going to be the Twitch channel Take This org.
Fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Thank you. I'm so excited to try and check some of that out. I think that is it for us. Sloan, if you want, Sage is live at Not Sage, and we could go say hi.
Oh, hold on. /raid. Is it not? Oh, God. I've
Not
forgotten
Sage.
how to fucking type. Is that how
Typing
you do it?
hard.
Yeah,
Hi,
that's it. We did it.
everybody.
But Thanks for being here, and we will see you next week.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.